my God. Okay, this truly feels so chaotic to just go live on Facebook. This is the first time going live on Facebook. And I've been going live on Instagram a lot and like sharing practices and different things there to help out that community. But I don't know, there's such a big, awesome Facebook community too. And I wanted to pop on here and face my fears. Oh my God, I remember the first time I went live on Instagram, I went live just to go live, just to see what it would feel like and just to like sit with the discomfort. So this is the kind of person I am. So here we are, and it's fitting because I'm talking about how to work through anxiety and how to face fear. I've become so good at this, like truly, not to like fully toot my own horn, but I will. I've become so good at this over the last couple of years because I started to get panic attacks maybe, like 5 years ago. And it was a completely new experience for me. So I had had some anxiety in the past, but I never labeled myself as an anxious person, which is so interesting to me at this point because I feel like I've just had so much anxiety for the past, kind of a year or two before I started getting panic attacks and a couple years after. And I wanted to just kind of talk about the process of these methods that I've picked up along the way about how to deal with anxiety and panic attacks. And even if you don't get panic attacks, like anxiety is so intense. And I know with COVID and everything just feeling kind of crazy and the overwhelm of the world, it's just a really good thing to add to your toolbox when it comes to just living better and living a more peaceful life. And so a little bit of background is that I started to get panic attacks, and it was kind of like a couple years coming, where it was kind of, my anxiety was like ramping up, and there was a lot of trauma that I just never really faced. I never really got the proper like mental health care after some traumatic events. And so I feel like I was really kind of like the poster child for resisting and just suppressing and just like moving forward. And so I did a lot of things that that helped in the moment, like helped me ignore my feelings and really the deep things that I thought like I couldn't really get through. Like it just felt so big, it felt so overwhelming, and I had a really hard time asking for help. And so I just kind of lived with it. And I have to say I'm really proud of myself for that time, like for actually getting through it. And yeah, then I started to get panic attacks and everything came to the surface. So I had to face it. Like there was no more ignoring. And it was like an initiation. It felt like just everything came to the surface all at once. All of the things I was trying to suppress, all of the things I was trying to avoid just came to the surface. And I had no choice but to face them. And I went to the ER a bunch of times. I thought I was dying and I was just having panic attacks. And I couldn't function in my life anymore and had to face it. And so that was like really my wake up call to like, all right, let's work through some of this shit so we can actually live and move forward and actually maybe live better. I'm trying to feel the anxiety of just like being live on Facebook. All right, we're doing it. So yeah, I started to heavily research the, most up-to-date practices and ancient practices, meditative practices, working through anxiety, and yeah, I just immersed myself and I got myself the right help too. I got on medication at that point that was like per diem, per needed for anxiety, for panic attacks and things like that, which was really helpful. And I want to just like mention here that I really want us to have like a neutral view of medication. I feel like there's so much stigma. There's so much stigma already around mental health, and a lot of people, they don't want to be on medication because it feels in a way, maybe to some people, like it's a failure. They wish they could have done it themselves. And yeah, there's a lot of opinions and a lot of feelings about medications, but I really see them as a tool. Like, you use them when you need them, and like, you don't have to make it mean anything about you as a person to use one of these tools that is available to us to help us. Medication has saved countless lives. So I feel very neutral about medication, and I want to just like instill that in other people as well. And so yeah, first step was seeing clinicians and getting that medication, and that sort of like got me to a point where I was like, all right, I'm like down from this place of like just consistent panic attacks that I feel like I can't really control, and I'm down to this point of like, okay, I can start to like rebuild and look at the things in my life that led to this point of like having extreme bouts of panic. And it's just so incredible to me, like the practice that I came to and that I use to this day, and that I will use forever for the rest of my life, that I will teach my clients, that I will teach anyone who asks, is radical acceptance. And I know for some people it's like that feels like not enough, and maybe it's not for the point that you're at in your process, in your journey, but I want to offer it as just something to consider, because I think for a lot of people, especially people with chronic low grade to moderate anxiety, this practice can be really, really life-changing. So the first thing that I do when I feel anxiety arise is I've started to personify my emotions in the last couple of years, especially with things like anxiety, because it just gives it like a kind of a, I don't know, I was gonna say fun twist, but it's not really a fun twist. It's like, it just gives me a way to like dissociate or not like identify with the emotions so much, because I feel like that's so it's so easy to just be in an emotion so deeply and you experiencing it from the inside out and just identifying with it so much, and it just has like this grip on you. So I like to just kind of like find some space and personify the emotion. So for example, like the practice that I just did was, I was feeling the anxiety, and I place like some attributes on it, like it's an actual object, like a physical object, or like a little animal or something, some little thing. And what I was thinking is like, it was like a ball, like a metallic ball, like a crunchy metallic ball, like tinfoil ball, but like dense, really, really dense. And to me, the anxiety is in my stomach. It feels really tight. It feels twisted in my stomach, my upper stomach. And it can feel very securely attached to my body. Like it can feel very, very strong. And then I think this is where people start to freak out, is they're like, oh my God, this is like such an intense emotion. I don't know how to deal with it. I should just go distract myself, numb it out. And when you distract and numb, again, I feel like that's neutral. That's fine. Like there is a time and a place to distract yourself. And I feel like sometimes you have to, especially when it feels too intense, too overwhelming, and when you're just like starting this practice. And so it's kind of this line, like walking this line of like self-care, where yeah, sometimes it's self-caring to actually like investigate the feeling, the sensation, and then go through this practice that I'll go into in a second. And sometimes it's self-caring to like leave it in the background, go distract yourself, like it's too much, it's too intense, right? So that's okay, both are okay. But if we are in a curious mode, and we want to investigate, and we want to like learn this practice of getting through the anxiety. So yeah, personifying it, just noticing it in the body, like creating the somatic relationship to it, noticing where it is in the body, the quality of it. Maybe it has a temperature, maybe it's associated with a color for you, maybe just whatever qualities come up for you, like using your senses. And yeah, if you see like an object or a little animal, or it has like a personality to it, the anxiety or whatever it's feeling, just kind of like in your mind create this this association. And then after I do that, I start to speak to it, like in my head. I start to say to it, and I really like, at this point, I've become so good at this that I can just do it right away. But at first, it took some time to actually welcome this thing into my life, my body, my energy, like welcome it like just the dearest friend, human thing, like just welcome it with such open arms into my sphere. And the act of doing this is so powerful, because I think of it as like, as humans, and when we personify emotions like this, I think of as a human, like we so want to just be accepted and welcomed, and that really cannot be like overstated. We need acceptance, we need social approval, we need to feel like we are welcome and wanted and that we fit in. Like, it's something that's so important. So when I personify my anxiety like this, and I imagine like, okay, what would this like creature or being want? Like, what does it need? And to me, it's like these things that we resist, we push away. And so we do the opposite. We accept, we embrace, we open ourselves up to like feeling the thing fully and just letting it in and welcoming it, just like speaking to it like really kindly, like you would with someone you love. Like, no, you're so welcome here. Like, I want you to be here. And then after you've kind of like felt into that, the next phase is amplifying the anxiety. So giving that thing, yes, Max, yes. So giving that thing, that object, that energy, the space to be here fully. So like radical acceptance, as you would with someone you love who doesn't feel accepted. You're like, oh my God, no, like you're totally welcome here. You can totally come. We love you. And then being like, you know what? I want you to amplify your personality. Like, I want you to go like full, I want you to, whatever feelings that you're feeling right now, like I want them to be even more intense. Like, I want you to fully express yourself. And this part is so crucial, and this is sometimes like the hardest thing, to fully allow that energy to express itself completely. And so this is the cycle. Like, it's so interesting because I've practiced this so much and so deeply, and I can truly say, like, I am proof that this works. I have not gotten a panic attack since I started to practice this, like even kind of like immediately. And let me tell you, like, they were really intense. Like, I really felt like I could not get out of it. I had no control. And of course, having the medication like near me helped, but I've taken the medication like so infrequently that like this practice really does work. And again, like maybe not for some people, maybe for others, maybe it will help other people so much, maybe it will never help some people, but I do truly believe that like it can help anyone. Like, it really can help anyone, especially when you're like at a certain place in your life. So yeah, those are kind of like the 3 steps to processing anxiety. And I will add that when you elevate those emotions and you're like, I want more, I want more, I want more, I want to see your full expression, I'm not scared. Like, I'm not scared. Whatever sensations you are like causing me to experience, whether it's like sweating, rapid heart rate, stomach issues, fluttering, feeling like I'm gonna die, dizziness, whatever, I'm like, yeah, amplify it. It's all good. And that's what I think comes with like that kind of slight disassociation where, yeah, these things are happening in your body, but when you remove the fear from it, like anxiety is so fear-based. And so when you start to actually remove the fear from it, like it loses its grip. And it's so interesting, like the cycle, the way this happens is when you do actually amplify those feelings, you tell that anxiety, like you want more, it's all good, give me more. Like it's pretty intense at first. It dissipates. And this was like the craziest experience to me. The first couple times this happened, I really did not expect it to actually work. And I use this practice every single day at this point. Yeah, I totally still have anxiety, but my relationship with anxiety is so different. Like, I don't see it as something that I need to push away or resist. Like, yeah, sometimes it feels really shitty. Sometimes it's harder to like go through this process and actually dissolve it. But yeah, my relationship with anxiety is like, yeah, come on in. I know you well. Like, it's all good. You can have a seat right next to me. We can talk about it. Like, I'm here for you. I'll give you what you need. I'm listening. What do you need from me right now? How can I help you? And this is such an interesting little tidbit, but I was noticing a couple weeks ago that, so I set my alarm like 10 or 15 minutes before I actually wake up. And so I'm in this like hypnagogic phase for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I use that space to do this practice because I wake up with anxiety a lot because our nervous systems are just like on alert. When you have anxiety, like you're kind of just on alert. When you're in those like relaxed states, then you're like jolted out of it, especially when like an alarm goes off. It's so intense. So yeah, I have these like 10 or 15 minutes and I go through this practice. I just welcome, radically accept, allow the feelings to amplify, and I swear every single time they dissipate. And sometimes it takes like a couple rounds. Sometimes it takes a couple rounds to like truly fully like get to that place of equilibrium. But yeah, at this point it's become like subconscious. And then sometimes I won't even set an alarm and my brain will just do this automatically. When I start to feel like that morning anxiety surge up, it's like, oh, all right, time to accept, and then, allow and let's cruise. So like, it's incredible. So I wanted to share this because it's just like such a fundamental and such a crucial practice in my own life, especially, yeah, because I've had pretty intense anxiety for a couple years, and I know people are experiencing more anxiety with COVID, and really everyone should know about this and practice it if you can. Like, even if you just take a moment and just like do the first step a couple times or 100 times or 1,000 times or however long it takes you to like start to open yourself up to the possibility that, yeah, you can face the things that feel really, really scary and you can work through it and you can release those feelings, like just with your mind. It's crazy. It's super cool. And so, yeah, I wanted to share that. I have one-to-one coaching open. Just get in touch with me if you're interested. This is like such an important practice that I do with clients, because also like one-to-one coaching, you can modify things like for what people need, right? Because it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Health, healing, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. You gotta find what works for you, and everyone's different. So working one-to-one is really awesome because we can work through a lot of the stuff, these individualized processes. And yeah, all right, hope this was helpful, and talk soon. Yay, first Facebook Live. Yay, bye.